The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 86.
Yay!
Nothing quippy, nothing cool?
No, it doesn't end in a 5, doesn't end in a 0, and I was born in 1988, so 2 more episodes and then maybe I'll cheer.
You could talk about 86ing yourself from this podcast, so you don't have to do this episode. Ah, yeah, she did it. Awesome.
I'm back again.
Audio listeners will have no idea what just happened. That's fine. She left for
That's
a brief
okay.
moment.
I don't know. Get a computer, get YouTube.
Anyways, your very vegetable-friendly hosts for the day are Kris and
Savannah.
I think that was the first time I tried to make up like one of those intros that didn't immediately have to do with the thing I said prior to that. Today it was all about the band that we're doing, very vegetable oriented, and that would be Korn, which I'll get into in a moment. Because first, I just want to welcome you to the podcast since it just started. So hey, welcome to the Rate the Record podcast. Glad you're here. Glad you're hanging out with us, being part of this musical community that we're trying to build brick by brick. I haven't done that part in a while, but it doesn't really matter anyways. Thank you for being here. Truly appreciate it. And if you like what you see and or hear today, make sure you do one, at least bare minimum one of a handful of things you can do to help support the show. Like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, follow. I think I got that wrong. Like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, follow. Yeah, I got it right. That's 6.
Nice.
That's the 6 I usually do. I'm psyching myself out here, but you can make me feel better by doing at least one of those things. No matter where you're listening, there's always options to do those types of things. And you can find all the places to do those things over at ratetherecord.ca. That's where you'll find all the streaming links, like the one video streaming link and the multiple audio links. You'll find all that there. All the social media stuff that we do. You can join the RTR Club for $5 a month, kofi.com/ratetherecord. If you want early access to content, bonus content, shout out you, I should say, for helping us out and reviewing your band's music. We will do all that. $5 a month, RTR Club. Check that out. That's over there too. Album requests, merch, all of that. I was gonna say and more, but that's pretty much it. Ratetherecord.ca.
So you already mentioned about joining the RTR Club and having listeners submit their music for us to review and talk about. I really want to push that because it has occurred to me that I just listen to the same bullshit over and over and over again. So it would be really nice to listen to not only something new, but something modernly new. So please do that. I'm very interested. And I just sit there to an empty inbox every single day and I cry. It's kind of like that meme where it's just that guy just sitting on a bench and in various states of waiting.
Guys sitting on a bench, you mean the Keanu Reeves one where he looks sad?
No. I want to say it's Pedro Pascal, but it could be someone else. I don't remember.
Oh, okay,
but he's just like standing like in a field or something. And I don't know. Either way, I want to listen to new music. Please join. Please submit your stuff.
Hey, and even if you have like a badass single that you released like 10 years ago, just you can submit it. Why not? That'd be cool. I'll still check it out. We haven't heard of you.
Yeah, exactly. It's new to me, new to us.
Awesome. So yes, ratetherecord.ca, you can do all that. And so if you've been to this show before, then hey, welcome back. Glad you're here and glad you've done at least one of those things in the past to help out the show. And just you being here, increasing that view count or listen count, wherever the hell you're listening at, or however you're listening, helps. So yes, thank you. Welcome back. Glad that you're here. If you're new, welcome to the show. We hope you enjoy your stay, have fun, be part of the community, talk about music with everyone else, and all that fun, glorious haha kind of stuff. I lost my stepping immediately there. That's why I just kind of slowed down. But regardless, if you're new here, get used to that because it happens quite a lot. But also that means you don't know what we do here on the show. So each week Savannah and I will choose an album. It can be completely at random, whatever we want to listen to for any multitude of reason. You can request an album. We've done plenty, and we've got plenty more coming up in the latter half of season 5. Or we do anniversary albums too, like today's album, which I'll get into momentarily, as I said. But regardless, we do choose an album. We will discuss it at length from front to back. We rank the songs, and then we rate the record.
Okay, you said that my audio's off. Was it on there? Was it on that time?
No, when I said rate, you still weren't saying. When I said the is when you jumped in. That's the beauty of doing Zoom calls.
Yeah, I blame the internet. It has nothing to do with either of us. It's the internet. Damn you, Trudeau.
if we were doing this in person, chances are it would be like spot on. Like it would just be,
Oh, hell yeah.
boom, perfect.
Well, probably because you'd reach over and punch me in the arm, so I'll start.
We rank the songs and then we
Then
punch
we-
you in the arm. Rate the record, and you're like, ah.
Exactly. Halfway through, ow, that actually really hurt.
In the intro there, I said there's no belligerence, but I didn't say anything about physical violence.
Exactly. We've never
Belligerence is
had
verbal.
to.
Alrighty then, so I guess we should start talking about music kind of like this podcast says that we do. I promise that's actually a thing we do. So today, we are celebrating an album anniversary, which I don't think we've done since Public Enemy's Take the Nation Millions to Hold Us Back on episode 79. I think this is the last
I
anniversary
think
album
you
we did.
might be correct.
Well, for episode 86, as of the release of this podcast, it's not the anniversary yet, but it's August 18th, which is a few days after the release of this podcast. We're looking at the band Korn and their 1998 album, Follow the Leader, turning 25 years old.
Oh my God, it ages us.
I actually remember when this album debuted, okay? Like, I remember when it came out, when Freak on a Leash came out, the first time I ever saw that music video. I still got a residual cough, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. So the fact that I know it's 25, I was like, what, 9 or 10 around the time this album came out. So,
God.
like, holy shit.
Little baby Kris listening to Korn. Little baby Savannah was still listening to the Spice Girls' second album.
I was gonna say, like, listening to Wilco or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, no, that was later. Definitely Spice Girls. Spice Girls and saying Backstreet Boys in their infancy.
I had like a kind of a melding pot at some point of age where like pop and metal were going in at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was still listening to Hanson and the Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys while also listening to like Korn and Ozzy Osbourne and Slipknot and Mushroomhead. They all just kind of came in at a weird time and just kept going in together.
Very diversified. I can see how that shaped your musical preferences as an adult. You're like, I'll listen to anything as long as it sounds good.
Yeah, and it was at that young age when I started discovering music by myself. So I mean, like that's why I was accepting of everything. Like, bring it in, bring it in.
That's awesome.
But yeah, 25 years old, Korn's Follow the Leader, one of the most prolific albums to date. So we're gonna be talking about that album today, just because obviously that's what we gotta do for the show. But before we do that, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the band and the album. There's not too much of a biography to have to read for the band, but obviously a lot of events happened between like their debut and this album. So discluding some of those and just kind of like giving you a good build up to this album, just so you know. Once again, go read about Korn if you really want to. So Korn is a nu metal band that formed in 1993 in Bakersfield, California. The band has mostly consisted of their original members throughout their entire career. The band was originally formed by guitarist James Monkey Schaefer, bassist Reginald Fieldy Arvizu, I guess that's how you said the name, and drummer David Silviera, which I think David was the only member to not have a nickname. That and John, I guess. The three were originally part of a band called LAPD, which would go on to release 2 albums before breaking up in 1992. They stuck together and enlisted a new singer and formed the band Creep, but that quickly changed once they instead enlisted the help of guitarist Brian Head Welsh and frontman Jonathan Davis. When the latter two joined the band, they became Korn, and I was reading why they said they picked the name Korn. It was like nonsensical, who gives a shit, and they stylized the name cool, and I think that was about it. So there's no awesome story behind the name or anything like that. In 1993, the band started playing some small gigs around Southern California, and they would eventually catch the attention of Immortal Records A&R person Paul Pontius, who said they sounded like a whole new genre of rock music, and boy, how correct he would be moving forward into the 90s, especially with the death of grunge right around the corner. They managed to release the first demo that year called Niedermeyer's Mind, which I've never heard anything of it, but I'm pretty sure it's probably rough tracks from the first album if I had to guess. It wasn't very well received, and it was only in very limited supply. But for some reason, record companies took notice of that anyways, despite the fact it wasn't well received. Because in 1994, Korn released their debut self-titled album through Immortal Records, which would captivate the world, as this was the first time nu metal had really been experienced. And by the time we're recording this, nu metal's kind of in a revival right now. There are music festivals dedicated to it. Deftones are suddenly picking up on like TikTok and shit. So I mean, like, to all of you younger kids and everything in the audience, first off, go to bed. As I said, you're not allowed to watch this podcast. You're too young. Second off, if you're aware of the Deftones now because of TikTok, just remember, Nu metal started in the 90s, and Korn was like the pioneer band for it. That and Limp Bizkit and all that other shit too, but I mean, that's just like a whole other story of its own. Nu metal would slowly go on to dominate towards the late 90s and early 2000s. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah.
And me being at the forefront of it, that was my shit back then, so I'm all about it. It was being fronted by bands such as Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, Cold Chamber, Deftones, and far, far more. I'm just not going to sit here and list all of them. The album received mostly positive reviews and catapulted Korn into the mainstream. They followed that up with 1996's Life is Peachy, which, to younger listeners, is where the song Twist comes from. Again, another TikTok classic of Jonathan Davis just doing his weird scat thing over some metal riffs, which we hear in today's album as well. So we'll talk about that later. Yeah, this was used in many TikTok memes. At the point of recording this, at the very least, we could have just aged ourselves by saying that, because this podcast in the future is probably going to be irrelevant now. That album received a lot of mixed reviews, with some feeling that the band didn't work too long on it due to their exhausting tour schedule. Through a change in producers and seeing that they needed to switch things up a little going into their third album, they managed to do just that with today's episode pick. Follow the Leader is the band's third studio album, released August 18th, 1998. It was released through both Epic and Immortal Records and was recorded at NRG Recording Studios in Northern Hollywood. And the album was produced by Steve Thompson, who has won awards working with Korn, Aretha Franklin, Ziggy Marley, and the Blues Traveler. Wow, what a diverse, absolute diverse portfolio right there. Wow. I think there's some other names too, but I just chose some of the bigger ones I could find. And Toby Wright, who has also worked with acts such as Alice in Chains, Biohazard, Fear Factory, Fishbone, Kiss, Ozzy Osbourne, Slayer, and once again, tons more. And also the band themselves had a big role in the production. The album production process has many notorious stories of partying before, during, and after recordings, if you couldn't tell how fucking sloppy this album can get sometimes. There was a constant flow of drugs, alcohol, friends, and groupies in the studio, including one thing I wrote, including the opening track, It's On, where Jonathan Davis is quoted as saying that there were acts of both oral and penetrative sex going on around him while doing his vocal takes. The album artwork was designed by famed comic book writer and artist Todd McFarlane, who worked on the Spawn series, most notably. The album received mostly positive reviews from critics. USA Today gave it a 3.5 out of 5. AllMusic gave it 4.5 out of 5, our good best friends over at AllMusic. Encyclopedia of Popular Music and Rolling Stone gave it a 4 out of 5. And hey, I think we have some new best friends over here, because fellow B-tier enthusiasts Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-. I notice every time I mention them now, it's always a B-tier by them.
I thought you were going to say 5 out of 5, and I was getting ready to roll my eyes so far out of the room.
Entertainment Weekly, can we be friends, please? I give that relationship a B+. Loudwire put the album at number 1 on their 10 best hard rock albums of 1998, and Digital Dream Door has it as number 7 out of 100 of the greatest albums of 1998 list. For perspective on that particular number 2, I had to write this especially because of I'm sure you have a great review for this album, by the way. For perspective on that, in the same year that this album came number 7 on that list, they beat out Jay-Z, DMX, System of a Down, Elliott Smith, Whitney Houston, Beck, The Offspring, Marilyn Manson, The Smashing Pumpkins, and many other huge notable acts. The album appeared at number 1 on many charts, including the US Billboard UK rock and metal albums, New Zealand albums, Canadian albums, and Australian albums. The album even managed to hit number 2 on the Greek album charts in their 2022 weekly performance chart. Yes, on the Greek charts, this album is still there, apparently. Or at least as of last year, I should say. That's fucking insane. The album has gone 11 times platinum, 5 in the US, 3 in Canada, 3 in Australia, and 4 times gold in just as many countries. The album also features guest appearances from rapper Ice Cube, Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst, rapper Trey Hardson, aka Slim Kid 3, and comedian Cheech Marin in a secret track, which I wish stayed secret. The album spawned 4 singles, All in the Family, Got the Life, Freak on the Leash, and b.b.k.
I am surprised that there are any other singles just aside from Freak on a Leash and Got the Life.
The only 2 that anyone was aware
They're
of.
the only ones I've ever heard.
To be fair, All in the Family was apparently a weird promotional track before the album, like before anything in the album was truly promoted.
Yeah.
And b.b.k, I don't even recall that being a single.
I think whatever drugs the band was on, they were giving to the record. They were giving the record execs the same drugs, and that's how all of this happened.
Well, I know that apparently when Jonathan started doing vocal takes for It's On, like that was one of the first songs they did for the album, and that was when he had all the sex acts going on around him. Apparently he refused to start until he was given an 8-ball of coke.
As someone who doesn't do hard drugs and has never done hard drugs, 1, don't know how much that is. 2, unfathomable, and 3, yeah, I can see that.
I think an 8-ball is just a bump, but I don't really know. I've never done coke, but also too, Jonathan Davis has done meth, and he did it for a long time. He's been sober for a long time now, but still, like he did meth in his younger years, so that probably followed him too. With all of that in mind, I think we can finally get started on this album. How well has it aged in celebrating 25 years now? How are we going to feel about it? Let's find out. So number 1, It's On.
Okay, so this song, which the entire record, starts with what I assume to be someone weed whacking outside, because that's what I got from that. But 30 seconds in and I'm already banging my head to the beat. So we have a little bit of hopefulness. It's the Korn sound that I'm used to and they would rely on later in their careers, but I am worried that the whole album will just be a run of this like similar sounding songs.
You're so pessimistic.
I normally turn out correct, so we will see.
Well, I mean, considering that the first 2 albums had a very similar sound, this album, I mean, yeah. Issues kind of like started experimenting a little more, but that came later, so we can't even really bring that into the fold right now. I will start with a blanket statement for the entire thing. Like, regardless of our thoughts on this album, starting from here on out until we get to the end, I will always appreciate, the one thing I'll always appreciate about Korn is their unusual like layering and composition methods that they use, like especially between Head and Monkey, like Brian and James, the guitarists, because they approach guitar work very unusually, and it's a weird mix between industrial music, metal, and hip hop that they use.
Okay.
And it's so different as compared to anything else that you would have listened to at the time, and even like today, like some of the sounds that they use are still like really interesting. So I will always give them that much, no matter how I feel about some of their songs.
I am afraid that going further with this review will change your opinion on me as a person, but I guess we shall. Yes. I don't think highly of you anyway, so it wouldn't matter. I could be the happiest person, but as soon as I hear the song kick in, I want to fight someone, which I think that kind of fits with the song title, you know?
Yeah, It's On.
And like, I guess, to be candid, I haven't really heard Korn outside of the singles. I know there's a lot of bands that we do that's the case, but that is really the case here. Whatever has a music video or whatever somebody has sung or hummed, I'm like, oh, okay, I know that song, but that's it. So if I am incorrect on certain things, tough. It's willful ignorance at this point. And the vocals aren't my favorite here because I do compare them to other songs that I have heard by them. There's something grating about it. I can't put my finger on it. It gets better going forward. It might just be sort of the lower sort of singing rather than the yelling. It doesn't sit as well with me as other things. The next couple songs being a good example. Sounds better in those songs than it does this one.
And I agree. There are some vocal parts on this album that I'm not too fond of, and then there's others where it's just like, okay, this one feels better. It fits.
Yeah, it's a comfortable.
I like the chorus, the way he sings that, but yeah, the verse is like that weird unhinged thing. It's like, it's kind of weird to start off the album like that, I guess, like vocally, but I mean, whatever. Because he does it a few more times, it's like, well, at least you're staying consistent, not just getting crazy for one song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I wanted to go back for a minute. God, what we were just saying earlier. Oh, okay, so I'll find out how correct I am soon, but I can already tell I'm probably going to be correct anyways. It's just, there were some songs on this album. This isn't one of them. There were some songs on this album, and I'm pretty sure we can point them out as we get to them, where I was listening to it and just sitting here with my eyes closed thinking to myself, like, there's no in between. She fucking hates this album. I have a feeling that it's just not going to be a very good score, and just there were 2 or 3 songs, I think, 3 songs exactly, where it's just like head in my hands. I'm like, if my head's my hands, where the hell is her head? Like, just buried
In the
into
toilet.
her wrists.
In the toilet.
So that's what's gonna make this review very interesting going forward. But I'll kind of bring it back around on the song at the very least. Yeah, their 8-string guitars that they use are great because they're really good at filling out like that soundscape. It adds a good like clean low range, especially because Feely does like a lot of like percussive thumping on the bass. That's very like it's extremely percussive, which that's his style. That's what he's known for, and people love it. But it can get like a little annoying. But then again, like when I try to think of an actual bass line for a Korn song that has just the clicking and clacking, it's just like nothing else is gonna work here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it's nice that these 8-string guitars though have that low range to kind of like fill in for that. Despite the vocals though, I think this is a good track to open up the album. It kind of gives you an idea for like how heavy this is going to be, how creative some of the riffing can be, and just like a good amount of energy to get everything kicked off.
Okay, well, the disagreements start right from the get-go. I thought it was a little weak for an opening track. I felt that the only payoff here was repeating the title over loud guitars, which, don't get me wrong, sounds killer, but there's really nothing else to get me excited about the album until track 2 comes in. I'm like, oh, okay, this is good, but I don't think track 2 should have started it. I think a song farther into the album would have been a better introduction.
I wonder which one that's going to be.
It won't be too far from here.
I think Freak on a Leash is a good follow-up. So actually, let's follow it up right now. Song number 2, Freak on a Leash. I mean, this is the song. This is the Korn song. This is the one that like anyone and everyone would likely know. Its music video is fucking incredible.
It scared me as a kid. Korn just scared me in general as a small child.
Because Jonathan's growling and scatting all the time, and like the guitars were low and heavy as fuck. So like it's kind of like when you first hear Slipknot and you're like,
they scared me because of the masks.
Well, yeah, they're screaming. The masks are scary, and I mean, like there's a song called Prosthetics that if you're young enough can scare the shit out of you just by the way it sounds. Sounds like someone's screaming in the background. It's terrifying, but I like it as an adult. But Freak on a Leash though, again, this is the Korn song, and I know from the last track too, like this song is a prime example of that very creative like layering composition. I really love the guitar work in this one because again, it's just like they didn't have to solely rely on like the just low chugging or whatever. Like it was a lot of high pitched stuff, a lot of effects and everything like that. So I really like that kind of stuff. It makes it stand out and actually feels more memorable that way.
Yes. Speaking about memorable, the chorus is bass filled and meshes with the verses quite nicely with the memorable pre-chorus. Right now it's in my head. It's nothing that'll ever go away. There are a lot of songs on here. Spoiler, I couldn't find hooks, or the hooks didn't get me personally. This one, it got me, it strangled me, and now I owe my life to it. The imagery for this music really gives me like damp cave, like a Finger 11 music video. It's just like a damp cave where you get the water dripping, and then they're like, I don't know. That's what I get from this. It seems very like dark and dingy, and I don't know. It's gross, but I like it. It's interesting.
Because I can remember the video so clearly, like that's all I can think about. Just like a bullet flying through neighborhoods, and then like the band standing on the background that they blasted through with a shotgun, and just the light blaring through it and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of with imagery. I don't think there's much imagery I get from this album, just because again it reminds me of like one thing or another.
Yeah, or it's all the same image over and over.
I mean, shit. There is one song on this album that I can't even talk about on YouTube, I don't think. And now that I know what the song's about, I can't get that image out of my head, and it's fucking awful. And I'll kind of talk about it a bit when we get there because it's not cool.
Okay.
So I will say the pre-chorus and chorus obviously are like the best part of the track, but the verse is nice too because I love the bass groove in it. It's not clickety clacky bass; you just get like an actual bass line going through. The drum groove is real good. I really like it. But yeah, that pre-chorus and chorus are just like the payloads here. Like they are kind of what you paid to see type thing. I love that it sounds heavy without going overboard, and also the use of tom drums in the chorus. There's no cymbals; it's just like tom drums and percussion and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was a really interesting choice. It really paid off. Like you think that would like without the cymbals it would pull back the intensity, but no, it was great the way
maybe
it was.
That's why it feels like all dark and damp where there's nothing bright about it. It's all dark and deep, and maybe that's it. I never notice when there's a lack of cymbal. I only notice when there's far too much.
Yeah, like there was no like crashes leading the way or anything, no hi-hats or like rides. It was just like tom drums, like snare kick. Feely's got his percussion going on, so that really added the extra percussive feeling to it. So just it worked really well. And even though it sounds silly, I know we would have to talk about it, is Jonathan David scatting in this song. He's been doing it since, I only think, Life is Peachy. I don't think he did it on the first album, if that I can recall. Yeah. I mean, it's silly and everything like that, but I think the song would sound awkwardly empty without it. It's just his trademark. It's pretty endearing, so it works in this one. And it's even funnier watching people trying to replicate it.
Okay, so I won't. I only had a couple notes. Now it's one less. The backing vocals that sound like they're underwater are a nice touch underneath the chorus. There are a couple songs that have it. Never gets old. I really enjoy that. I think it sounds great
because they're pretty light as it is. So like they don't like push through the headphones or anything like that. They're just there and they're comfortable.
Like as an example for Got the Life, the next track, in the chorus, you kind of got that in the background as he's singing. I love that. It's like a softness in the hardness of the song. And anytime they put that, it doesn't get old. I like it a lot. I like it here. There are parts that it feels like I'm listening to an exorcism. Now, before Kris made me a little self-conscious about trying the Jonathan David scatting.
I said it was funny. I did not make fun of people. I enjoy watching because some people do it really well.
I know, but I don't. And my face, I can already feel, is getting red and warm because I feel embarrassed.
Do it for Ko-fi exclusively. I'll cut this part out and put it on Ko-fi. All right, we'll move on now. Song number 3, the other gigantic single on this album, Got the Life.
Okay, so listening to this makes me feel like a badass cyberpunk queen, and it reminds me when I was a teenager and really, 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 really wanted yarn dreads.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you wanted the head dreads. Head from Korn.
Oh, well, I wanted dreads, but I wanted ones where instead of growing my hair long, I would just take a bit of my hair and then wrap like colorful yarn on it and make my own dreads.
Like the cyber goth look. Or
yeah. Oh my God. I was all about that, but I was such a loser that I could never pull it off.
I was thinking of the head dreads because he's got like just like these weird strands of hair that come down. He's got like these hooks at the bottom of them.
Oh, I never noticed.
Yeah, that became a very iconic look in the metal scene in the late 90s.
Oh, interesting.
All the fans who would replicate that particular haircut. But yeah, I love the main guitar riff that opens up this track. It also goes to the chorus as well. It's catchy, it's easy on the ears, everything like that. So they do a really good job with it. And the drums are a great standout in this track too. Like there's a lot of good standout stuff, but like that and a thumpy bass are really well paired here, especially in the verses. Because the verse has that like high kind of squealing guitar that's happening, just as like a weird sound effect layer. But the bass and the drums are really driving this pulse here, and just it's really great to listen to.
And the combo leading into the first verse, it's just like you get the hits on the snare and everything. It's kind of like a mini drum solo going into it. And like, very tasty.
Yeah,
I liked it. Like I said with the last song, the backing vocalizations during the chorus, I love it so much. It adds so much interest. It's like another layer to listen to that isn't screaming or anything. It's actually quite the opposite. Very nice. Okay, I already said that. Get Your Boogie On is a little cheesy, but it's easy to look past. Leaving the bridge and going into the last chorus is an assault on the ears with the bass dead center, the guitar in the right, and some vocal scatting in the left. And I feel a little schizophrenic.
I think he says "Get Your Boogie On" in "Earache My Eye," which is coming up later. He like Fieldy in the studio, just super fucking high or drunk and just kind of rumbling into the microphone. So I think they took that sample and put it here because he does say in "Earache My Eye," he's like "Get your boogie on," and obviously he's like vocal manipulation, but still.
Oh, definitely pitched down so much.
But yeah, this is a great track though. I mean, even the last 40-ish seconds really makes this song feels like it was specifically written to be a great show ender.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, because I've seen them live twice, once in 2005, once in 2006, I think they played this to close out like pre-encore. because I think their
Wow.
encore was playing Blind, which was like their first massive single.
Yeah.
I think this closed out before the encore started. So technically, yes, it works as a show ender because it was. I'm gonna pull things back in now because I'm assuming that we just cut off a bunch of shit for Kofi. So hello everyone else. Sorry, we had a big long story time there, and just gonna save some time, right?
Yep.
So I think we're done talking about Got the Life. You see,
Yes.
in the edit, it'll be pretty seamless. It's like we just finished talking about, but in real life right now, we just spent 10 minutes telling stories. So I forgot where we were. So we'll move on now to song number 4, Dead Bodies Everywhere.
This song kills the energy immediately with the slow burn of an intro. This one I would have liked opening the album instead of It's On. I feel like the slow burn intro would have been good to kind of bring in the album where it's like, oh, what am I listening to? And then bam, it kicks right in. So this is the one I would have preferred to swap with track 1.
I don't know. I don't think this would be a good album starter.
Mhm.
There's something about It's On that works, and maybe it's just like that weird buzzy humming thing that just kind of like, especially because again they've used that song to open concerts as well.
Mhm.
So like it's associated to me as like a good opener, and this one kind of I maybe should have like been a little further into the album, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't so much mind the placement of it here at the very least. And I guess what we're describing for people who haven't listened to it yet, first off, you should go listen to it and, you know, be part of the community that we're doing commentary. Yeah. I think there's just like this really cool, creepy opening to the track that I don't even know what it, I don't know if that'd just be like a pitched up piano or some string instrument or something like that, but it's just like playing this very dark, ominous, like little line, very eerie sounding verse as well. So like there's a lot of like creepy instrumentation happening first. There's like some heavy portions too, but it keeps going back to like this atmosphere kind of like dark eerie part. And I think that sounds really cool. I do like what they're doing in the song. It's a lot of fun. The chorus is a lot of fun too. Not as great as the previous tracks. It's not as catchy, but I think it's still pretty effective. It's still really heavy. I like the lower growling vocals behind like Jonathan's lead vocals, so it adds like a little more layer of intensity to it. There's some good things in the song that I like. There's like some really cool layers.
What about the sound effect laden bridge?
I wrote notes about that.
Did you like that layer? Please elaborate. I did not. I did not.
It's one of those things that like I liked when I was younger, and as an adult, I'm just like, okay, it's kind of endearing. It's fine. Yeah, so there's weird sounds all over the bridge. It is a little goofy sounding. I mean, like it does kind of have this like cartoonish, like haunted house type feel. So if you want imagery, there you go, like cartoony haunted house, because I'm not even certain what they're using. It could be like weird guitar effects, which wouldn't surprise me considering what Brian and James are good for doing. You hear like a laughing noise in the guitar. You hear a cat meowing, and you hear a bunch of like weird other like high pitched droning noises and stuff like that. Is that the imagery I'm supposed to be getting? The haunted house, because that's what I'm getting. I mean,
yeah, like one of those cassette tapes you buy at Walmart to play in your haunted house, and then it starts skipping. Yeah, but like the guitars kind of go down to sort of a, I don't know, what I imagine to be like a music box type of creepy tone, so that kind of adds to the Halloweeny creepiness. But I do have to ask, how many ideas went into this one song? Because it kind of felt like a lot. Well, and this isn't the only song I'll say that about.
Consider how much coke they were doing during this album. So chances are they finished the songs and then just kept going.
Yeah,
because they're just like, no, wait, hold on, like this part, oh god, that sounds creepy and weird, and then you just like high pitched bend. It's like, oh yeah, that one right there, I like that. So like, you know, just they get faster and faster with their speech because they're on coke.
Okay, so I do say this about a song very soon, but it is valid here, so I'm just going to read it. How many people were in the room to produce this? Did they confer with each other? Was yes the only response to, can we add this? So that's kind of goes off of what you said. So yeah,
production wise, I'm guessing like upwards of 7, because you have the 2 main producers and then the band, which has 5 members. So there you go. And also, if they're all, I don't know about the actual 2 producers, and I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but I know the band were fucked out of their heads. Yeah. So when at least the vast majority of the room is completely cracked out, then chances are you're going to allow a lot of shit to slide on this album.
Like wrangling toddlers.
More or less, but if it's just another toddler wrangling other toddlers, it's not going to really work.
I guess that's true. What is it? Blind leading the blind?
Something along the lines of that, yeah. Pot calling
Yep.
the kettle black, whatever the hell you want to, what analogies you want to use, I guess.
Yep.
I guess we're good to move on now.
Yeah.
Song number
Yeah.
Song number 5, one of the first big change up on the album here. Song number 5, Children of the Corn featuring Ice Cube.
They have a movie called Children of the Corn, but I think that's about a farm, kind of like Little House on the Prairie.
Well, it's not just about a farm. It's about like the kids who inhabit it because the adults are gone.
Nope. I'm pretty sure it's just like Little House on the Prairie. So it's kind of weird that the name is just so coincidental. It's one's not off the other, I assume. Ice Cube's intro to the song, cheesy as fuck. Okay, what the fuck are they talking about getting someone after school? Was this written when they were 15? Jonathan Davis was 27.
Ice Cube was part of NWA, and they released Straight Outta Compton in '88, so he's been out of school for a while.
He's older than the members of the band, and he's talking about their, like, I don't even fucking know. The song's not memorable as hell. Did you know that, okay, this came out in 98, and Are We There Yet came out in 2004, 2005.
Are We There Yet?
Yeah, it is the movie, the family-friendly movie Ice Cube starred in.
I forgot he took that turn.
He did. So I am just to assume that this was his last chance at relevancy before he dove into family-friendly comedies like The Rock did in The Tooth Fairy. You kind of look at it going, you had it all, man. You had it all.
He's friends with the band, and actually Korn ended up appearing on one of his songs as well.
As he should have, because I wrote down there's something about this that feels like it should have been on an Ice Cube record featuring Korn as the backing band, adding some vocals. It would have made so much more sense if it was a rap song with a rock feature rather than a rock song with a rap feature. Because it just sounds better that way.
Well, I mean, again, they already did one on Ice Cube's album. It was a back and forth kind of like give and take process there. But then again, remember that we're dealing with new metal here, so this isn't exactly a foreign concept on a new metal album to have rapping on it. So I mean, to me,
but rap better.
I mean, you'd say that about a few of the rap things that happen on this album, but especially with Ice Cube, considering NWA, but just. It didn't bother me so much because, like, not only am I used to this on this album, but again, we're dealing with new metal where I know some weird, goofy shit's gonna happen, and so this is gonna happen. That's fine. I've sold myself to this. I'm here now, so just go with it.
It's for somebody who doesn't listen to it and isn't as familiar. New metal, to me, everyone in it seemed to take themselves far too fucking seriously. So when something ridiculous happens, I don't think, oh, that's them. That's what they'll do. I think you guys are like hard as nails and you come out and you're like, I do drugs. I don't just sing about them, or I fucking killed a man in the parking lot. But then if you hear them covering Barney's theme song, it's like, oh, they're doing it ironically. But if you're just listening to it as someone who I guess sort of observes from the outside, you're looking at it going, the fuck is this? And you don't take it in nearly as well as I guess you seem to.
No, because I get it though, because you have like these dudes singing about like anger and pain and all that kind of shit, but then there's just like a bunch of goofballs like outside of the studio. So
I would not have known, because I listened to this going, this is so out of place. It feels like a necessity rather than a choice.
On that note too, is like with Jonathan's verses, like they're kind of weird, quieter parts. They're all right. They're a little goofy though. I'm not super big into it. It's funny how like Ice Cube's his section actually gets heavier and more interesting in these tracks. He gets some more interesting passages out of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. This song I feel is just like more or less an interesting experiment. Like it has some genuinely cool moments, but like I'm so back and forth like about how I feel about it as a whole. Mm-hmm. Like it's not one of those ones I'll actively choose, but I mean like there's enough about it that I kind of enjoy that I'd go back to. But it's not Jonathan's verses.
I feel like I have made my point and I no longer have anything to say.
Fair enough then. We could just move right along to the other single I wasn't aware of was a single. Song number 6, b.b.k, which, okay, as far as I've read, it does indeed stand for Big Black Cocks, and it's spelled with K because it's, Korn. But it's called that because it was named after a drink that Jonathan really liked in Europe or something like that. And the glasses they served them in, he, for some reason, called them Big Black Cocks, and I have no idea why. Maybe they were like really tall black glasses.
Probably drugs.
Probably drugs, probably the meth, probably the coke. So yes, b.b.k. Although this song is like, I had to read them like, so is the song about like just drinking? Is it one of those? It's like, no, it's about being high and contemplating killing yourself. Cool. All right, that's really on par for Jonathan Davis.
Yeah. There are some songs that I noticed the lyrics and I'm like, oh, okay, not bad. I did look these ones up and then I felt kind of bad not really liking the song after that. But it's not a testament to the, I guess, lyrical content. It's more about how it sounds in my ears. And the slappy bass sounds nice, but I don't like it here. I feel like it's competing with the guitars and the other guitar and the vocals. It's just everything is just all of the sliders on the console are all up at the same level. I feel fatigued and there is so much more to go.
Like half an album more.
Oh my God. Yeah, just 13, 14 songs. I had to take a nap after this one.
That's fine. You don't have to do it all in one sitting.
Yes, I do, or else I'm prolonging my torture.
That's how I do it.
I am in an oral prison, Kris. An oral prison.
No, an oral prison would be the vocal booth while Jonathan's singing and people are giving blowjobs behind him, just like I said in the first song. That's your oral prison right there.
Oh my God.
With this song though, I do like the energy behind the track, but like this does feel kind of like a bit of a collection of previous parts of previous songs. So hey, look at that, we're getting that familiarity feeling. It doesn't necessarily sound bad though. I don't dislike this song. More John scat in this song, so there you go. You got that going. He's playing around with it a little more. Yeah, I didn't think it was like super needed this time, but I honestly don't mind it though, so I didn't complain about it. Just like, because when he did it in Freak on a Leash, everything would have been really naked without it. Like it would have been really minimal and just a very weird bridge. Whereas this one, there was a lot going on in the bridge already, so it probably didn't need to be there. But whatever. Again, I won't complain. It's fine. This is, and also I will say though, this is a song too where the more I've listened to it over the years, the more layers that get unlocked on each listen, and that's even happening even today. So like I've been listening to this album for what, 25 years now, technically, 24, 23, give or take, and still hearing some new stuff that I didn't notice before. So hey, that's pretty cool.
That's good. I hope that if I decide to ever listen to this again, that the same happens to me, because some parts felt a little lackluster. I did like the bridge breakdown, but it did feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. And the riff after the bridge was good. I know we're going to go back to the chaos from earlier, but the riff right after the bridge gets a okay hand symbol from me. And then the whole it seems like everybody was just saying yes to every idea that was brought up, and then that's how this song came to be.
That's how this album came to be.
Yep.
Considering some of the things we haven't even talked about yet, that's how this album came to be.
Oh my God, what's the next? Okay, good. We're not there yet. Whew.
We're getting close to one of them, though. I can tell you that much.
I can imagine.
It ain't the next track, though, because the next song, number 7, Pretty. This is the one I mentioned earlier that I don't think I can actually talk about the song meaning on YouTube. Because this is on YouTube, and I don't even know if audio platforms are totally cool with it, because it's disturbing, graphic, disgusting, and like I'm smiling right now to being nervous, but because like reading the actual story was like, oh my fucking God.
So all you can do is direct people to educate themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's on Wikipedia. If not, then I think you can go to like songmeanings.com and like it's actually like Jonathan Davis has talked about what the song is about. And like everything he writes is super personal. It's either something he's been through, something he's experienced, or just something he's seen that's pretty fucking dark. I don't know if you want to. You need a strong heart.
No,
for this
we're good. Thank you. No, thanks. All you do is type in Korn pretty meaning, and then like, you know how Google will kind of bold the context in which you're searching. I read the first line. I'm like, we're good, and then I closed it.
Can you read the first line on YouTube or no?
No, I cannot.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you change the words, because if we ever want to be monetized, no, that is good. I direct you to Google yourself.
Let's just say
Gross.
a very not cool thing happening to a very young person. That's all I can. Yeah. That's the only way I can. He used to work as an autopsy's assistant, or a mortician's assistant, whatever you want to talk. I don't know.
So this isn't just like fantasy.
It's not a murder fantasy.
Happened.
No, like
this happened.
He saw a body come in that to this day still gives him nightmares. He did a lot of therapy, so what he saw and what the description you just saw happened in real life. Is everyone curious to read it yet?
So with this song, I definitely prefer the music as an instrumental. I feel like as this album goes on, all I want to do is just hear the music and that's it. The effects on the bass sound cool, and it makes me feel like I'm in a dream. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it definitely uses like that atmospheric vibe a little more, which is it's funny because there's some point on the album where I say like I wish they utilized the atmospheric sound more, but like to me this wasn't the way I would have wanted to hear it. I think one of the better ways they used it, and I'll talk about it when we get there too, is in the chorus of My Gift to You. I thought that was a cool way to use it, but like this one, I don't know. The intro was cool, but then I lost my interest in the verse because it got like far too mellow far too quickly. So it kind of pulled everything back. They should have worked into it a little more, like if they wanted to have this kind of dreamy, flowy kind of sound to this, at least to the verses. As I said, the chorus is fine. It's not super catchy though. Like I couldn't really tell you anything about it that's memorable, but it does pick the energy back up. So at the very least, you have the energy back.
Okay, I think all of my remaining thoughts on these kind of run into each other, so I'm just going to go with it. I agree with you with the verses wholeheartedly. It feels like something is missing when it comes to the verses. Maybe the noodling guitar in behind could have been louder, so it just doesn't feel so empty. When the pre-chorus / chorus comes in, it fills it out much better. The underwater sounding ahs backing the chorus, which even here, I still enjoy. I will rave on that. I think it just, with the contrast of the music, sounds fantastic. Great choice. It was okay. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Because there were little pieces. I'm like, oh, I really like that. Oh, I really like that. But as a whole, it was just okay.
That's how I feel a lot about the B side of this album. Where it's like, bits and pieces, hey, that's pretty cool. But everything else, you kind of drag it.
And then if you just cut and paste those little bits of the songs you like, you get a perfect Korn song, just one out of like the remaining 7 songs.
What a fucking scrambled mess that would be.
Well, I mean, it would sound like a lot of the songs on this album, yes.
Yeah, we can move on because like I keep thinking of the song meaning. I read the whole thing. Like that's the thing. I have a very morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
And reading Jonathan's exact statement of just like, I'm just trying to get others listening to Google it themselves so they can be just as disturbed to me. I don't want to be alone anymore.
Well, there's one morbid curiosity story that will always stick with me that's pretty famous that I'm not going to go into. But it's one of those things where you see something kind of related, and then that whole thing just floods back to you and you're like, oh my God, get out of my brain, please. I wish I had never read that to begin with. I made a mistake.
I've read shit. I've seen shit. I mean, I've got a head full of shit I'd rather not remember, but I'm kind of glad I do, just so I know to never look for that shit again.
But all those bad things can cover up worse things like this next song.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Pretty good segue.
It is song number 8, All in the Family, featuring Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit. I'll start off just by saying, like, because on that note of talking about how fantastic the song is, this is one of those songs where like tiny little 10, 11-year-old me listening to the song, I used to fucking love this song. This was hilarious.
Oh, probably you felt like badass, didn't you?
I was like, oh, they're being so bad. Oh, they're saying words. Oh, by the way, You can
We
ignore
don't
the fact
endorse
there's a
all of
lot
them.
of lyrics in this song that just don't work anymore. So remember, folks, this is 1998 when this was just like common speak. It was a very different time. So if you're gonna go listen to this song, no, you can't cancel Korn. You can't cancel Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
This is old shit. Sorry, not sorry. That's just
Yeah.
how it was.
They know they're scumbags already. You don't have to tell them.
Oh fuck. um, this song, this isn't even a joke, but this song is a result of like a bunch of drunk metal dudes getting into a studio and having a rap battle with each other. That's exactly what happened. That was the story.
I don't doubt it, because I point out some lyrics that are just fucking outrageous, and there's no way you could come to that conclusion without an aid of some kind.
Some of them are kind of funny, but like it still doesn't hold up that well. And like I don't know, this one is so weird because it literally is kind of a rap battle. It's kind of like Children of the Corn, whereas like you have the one portion that's kind of like the weird kind of like flowy, strange hip hop part. Then it transitions to the heavier part. It keeps going back and forth. There's no real verse chorus. It's all just like, here's Fred, here's John, here's Fred, here's John, here's John, here's Fred, and then they end the song with very weird stuff as well, with like very weird lyrics. Yeah, so this isn't really like a normal song that we usually cover because, like, again, there's more structure to other songs. There's not really too much structure to this one. I guess there is a chorus too, but still.
I just want to read all mine in order because this was my train of thought listening to this for almost 5 minutes. Okay. Fred Durst, I can't wait for this, said no one. This straight up sounds like Limp Bizkit. These bars suck. He looks like Raggedy Ann. You look like a kid from Hanson. When's the last time you heard the word halitosis in a song? I don't even know what to say about the music here because the lyrics really overshadow everything. Song is okay. I would never listen to this in public or too loud or really at all.
Yeah, if you were my age in 98, 99, which you were my age, but if you were listening to the same music as me, is what I should say, you would have also thought the song was super badass. I can tell you that right now.
I had a problem with listening to songs with curse words because it felt, well, it's like, you know, I was scared of Slipknot because they're wearing scary masks. You know, it's like,
and he says fuck a lot. He says the fuck word.
My sort of innocence, I guess, didn't really start to fade until apparently later than yours. So listening to stuff like this, I would have been like, oh my God, like I'm not allowed to listen to this. But that's when you kind of pull your comforter, your blanket over your head and you're listening and you're Walkman going, hey, no one knows I'm listening to this. And then that's when it all starts to change. And then, you know, you start to feel like a badass. You're like, I'm doing something I'm not allowed to.
Well, I mean, so cool. That's how I felt. And whoever said I had any innocence is a fucking kid. I was listening to terrible music for a long time. Halitosis,
and I was like, can't fucking get over that. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's just straight up bad breath.
It's like the worst kind of bad breath. It's like halitosis is like a medical condition bad breath.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
All right, let's get back to talking about All in the Family. That might be another story time thing I have to cut out of the episode. Go to kofi.com/rate the record. RTR Club, you get a lot of bonus stuff like us going on really funny story times, especially with this album here. Jesus, talking about Limp Bizkit apparently.
This is what happens when neither of us have anything going on after the show. It's gonna take forever.
Fine by me. Some of the instrumentals in this song are pretty cool, but that's about it. The song is a bunch of verses and choruses with no real rhyme or reason. Again, let's ignore the fact that it was 1998 and lyrics were different back then.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that they stopped taking themselves so seriously, though, because there is a lot of serious content matter on this album, in Korn's discography in general, so I can appreciate that they take a moment to do this, but it's still a really weird addition to the album.
It just sounds like a Limp Bizkit song to me, with a Jonathan Davis feature. Which, I mean, if you think of it that way, you're like, oh, I think that Limp Bizkit is kind of corny. So I'm like, oh, this would fit. But with Korn,
you stuck up sucker, corny motherfucker.
Like, I assume that with Korn, it's just more, I don't know, more serious, I guess, because I haven't seen any or heard any of their, like, I don't know, ridiculous side aside from this. But because I haven't in the past, I feel like it's out of place. But I think that's just because I'm coming in from the outside, not really knowing. But Different perspectives are good.
I can't wait for the day that we do Limp Bizkit on this show.
You know that it'll end up being me who just said, "Oh yeah, I wanted to listen to it."
I don't care which album either. I kind of hope it's not Chocolate Starfish. That one's too obvious. I want to go for either an older one, or one of the really new ones that suck.
Let's do the newest one.
I've actually listened to it from the back.
Really?
Because when it came out, I was curious. I'm like, how good and or bad could Limp Bizkit be? Like all this time later, I won't say anything about it now. There were some decent tracks. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
That's about all I'll say right now because we have to keep talking about Korn.
Gross.
All right, time to reclaim my place in this podcast. Reclaim this podcast. Whatever. Song number 9. Reclaim my place.
I don't know what that first line means. So
I wrote it, but who the fuck knows?
Well, I said song started okay, if not familiar. Oh, maybe it sounds familiar because it sounds like every other song. I think that's what I meant. Don't I? No idea. I don't even write this. I just outsource it on Fiverr and then I just read it over.
Oh, I was gonna assume that you do like a vocal thing where you're talking to your phone, like kind of like just that train of thought, whatever, and just it makes no sense. And so whatever appears on the paper is what you read out loud.
I do type like I speak, so that's not too far off. Why do all these songs sound so disjointed? As soon as the vocals come in, I don't care for it as much.
See, I feel differently about this one. I think this one kind of did it better. Although the verse does kind of feel like some of the other tracks. And once again, I do really like the way the chorus performed, though, especially vocally. But I don't know, like this is one of those ones where in the verses, like John's not really going like super weird, crazy with it, I guess. So I thought it was pretty fun. And the bridge is really fun too in the song. It's funny because while I'm saying all this stuff, I'm thinking of the wrong song. I know what Reclaim My Place sounds like, and I used to love the song too. But what song am I thinking of right now? It's on this album. We already Dead Bodies. No, I don't know. I'm thinking of like b.b.k. I'm thinking of. I don't know. You know.
Oh, is it so confusing to think about the song because they all sound the same?
They kind of feel that way, huh?
Sometimes.
But the bridge is fun though. It gets in that good atmospheric thing that I was hoping for, like that kind of like metal atmospheric thing. There was a good build up to it, and a good build up into like the last leg of the track as well. Cool use of the tom drums again. I really like that. So again, this is the kind of atmospheric I wanted for them. Like even in the song Pretty, I don't know if that would have fit too well, but at the same time, and also there's like a song coming up too. But this is what I would hope for at the very least.
Okay, I may be a little far off. Were there 2 bridges? Because it sounds like it dips down in intensity and then it plays something and then it comes back up and it goes back down. But when you're looking at like the time bar, it's around the time that you'd normally have. It's about the start of like the last third, but it went twice. And I felt like this song had restarted again before it was even over because I heard that, like, I guess, bridge, quote unquote, twice. But I can't discern different parts in this song. I just know that I heard it twice and I was very confused and it felt way longer than 4.5 minutes.
The second bridge feels more connected to the chorus at the very least, so it kind of feels like its own little thing too. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you have like the cool tom drum part that I really like, and then the what the fuck part, which I literally mean what the fuck, is he starts screaming what the fuck like 20 times.
Yeah, and that's that second bridge. I mean,
that's the what the fuck I scream when someone replaces my salt with sugar and I put it on my spaghetti. I mean, like, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yep. Oh my god.
But also, it's not such a bad song, but I will say shout out to that very quick ending with one of those like electronic guitar playing flowers you hear for all of 2 seconds at the end of the song. I thought that was funny. It's a very obscure choice, but it got a chuckle out of me, so I like it.
My grandma had one of those and I absolutely loved it. It was like this daisy with sunglasses and a guitar, and
that's exactly what I'm picturing.
Yeah. And then when you clap, it moves. My grandma gave me one that is a flower, and it's like I don't know, it's covered in like velvety fabric, and it has a monkey on it, and it does the same thing, that if you talk, it'll start moving. It is not as entertaining as when you were like 6 years old.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. This song was okay. I mean, I couldn't really find the chorus. It really blended into the pre-chorus, or I don't know. It blends in, and I thought that maybe it was the pre-chorus or like this last half of the verse. I feel like there's only a couple really good songs on this album. I did note, were there only 2 singles? There has to have been, because out of the rest of the songs, I could not pick 2 other songs that I would put as singles. I feel like I just gave everything away, but this song just feels so long. It's so long.
But I mean, this at the very least, this song does have a discernible chorus. I mean, like the verse and chorus sound very different from each other. So I mean,
yeah, but it's like someone telling you, yeah, sky blue and periwinkle are different colors, but someone's looking at it going, doesn't matter. It's both. They're both blue. That's it. You're like, no, but this one has a little different of a tone. No, they're blue. This whole song,
they're more different than that, and not the colors. The verse chorus.
Song made me blue.
Well, listen up. Here's the story about a guy who's blue and all that blue shit that he does.
Okay, so
Eiffel 65.
You keep bringing things up that I have little stories for.
So more story time. I'm gonna cut out.
Oh my god! Right. So there's this thing online. I don't know if anyone knows what it is, whatever. It's Hurdle. So it's like Wordle, but with music. So it plays you a specific amount of the intro of a song, and you have to guess what song it was. So we got, for, I think, 90s, that category, we got Eiffel 65's Blue. So all it is it goes, listen up, and then it ends. And then you have to guess what it is, or you could sacrifice some turns by getting more of the music. We sat there and sang the intro a cappella, verbatim, and I just looked back at him going, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I know all of the words to the intro of Blue. And that is sad.
It's an earworm, ear parasite, ear maggot.
So, like, you don't hear that song for 30 years. You hear it and you're like, I know all of this. This is so easy.
That's kind of like someone walking into a room and just saying, some.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Everyone just knows at this point.
I guess that's true. Or it's been.
Yeah, it's been. Fuck off.
Oh my God. Earworms make me just, I don't know. It makes me consider my own mortality, to be quite honest.
What, having a song stuck in your head?
Yes.
Fascinating. Speaking of one's mortality, let's move on to the next song because that's actually relevant. Song number 10, Justin. The reason why I say that is because this is another one of those like sad type of meaning songs because the song is named after a super fan of the band who was dying of, I can't remember what kind of cancer, but his final wish was to meet the band, and it scared the shit out of John because he's like, why out of anything you could do, why do you want to meet me? So wrote a song about it.
I feel like I may have heard that story before. But that's actually better than meeting them, to be quite honest, because people are
he still met them, like he still hung out with them and everything like that. I don't know how deep they would have been into writing this album because it's like maybe he heard some demos or something like that. Because usually they'll do that. It's like, oh, you won't be around for the release of the album, so here's like an early fucking raw copy of it. But yeah, so like it was just written for that reason, and he's very straightforward about that in the lyrics, just like, you want to meet me, why? Like, I wish I had your strength, blah blah blah, whatever.
Dang, that's actually kind of nice.
As I said, like all of Jonathan's lyrics are very like personal. It's either happened to him, something he's experienced or seen or something like that. It's just one of those things.
Well, I feel bad for not really liking the song now.
It's okay, I don't either.
Okay, good. Okay, so I am so bored of these songs. I like the heavy aggressiveness, but it's like you're scared the first time someone yells, but if they're always yelling, you don't really feel anything the more it happens. You're like, yeah, that's just normal. So like the aggressiveness doesn't really get to me anymore because I'm like, you're always aggressive. That doesn't hit maybe what they want it to hit, for me at least.
Yeah, it does feel like a little tiresome at this point, and I think what's one of the here's the note that I have. It's like the riffing in the chorus specifically sounds like some of the other tracks, but with far fewer notes. Because for the longest time it's just like dun 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 dun. It's like just one note forever. It's just like, wow, they got less creative with this. This poor fan died, and this is their song. I do like the experimental nature of the writing as per usual, but at the same time, it's very ultimately uninteresting in this song. Just not a lot of cool things happening, not a lot to catch me. if they found a good way to cap this song after the middle bridging portion, I think it would have been fine that way. I think it would have been even better. But then you have a final chorus and that drags on for a long time, absolutely unnecessarily. So it just, this song becomes kind of like just, I don't want to say unbearable, but just I would prefer not to hear it. So like again, if you made this what is it, 4 minutes and 17 seconds, so like if you made the song 3 to 3.5 minutes,
Yeah.
probably got a song on there I could deal with, whatever. So it's a short little thing dedicated to your fan, very nice effort of you, but then just God, even the dead kids probably just like wrap it up.
I only have so much time here. Can we go?
He was in there for the whole production, and John's just like, I'm sorry the song's long. You want some Coke?
Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's all prepared and everything. Oh
you
God,
might as well. I mean, like, what, are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Evil. Don't listen to me.
That's actually really funny. I found that the vocals don't really match the music in the verses. I find that they suck at writing verses, in my honest opinion. Did anyone even talk while writing this album? And I do like the main guitar riff, but did they glue all their knobs in place? Because I don't think I've heard a different tone this entire album.
No, their tones sound pretty much the same throughout every album. I mean,
oh my God. Because this is the first Korn album in its entirety that I've heard, I was hopeful. But yeah, it all just sounds the same.
But it's the thing is, because it's their signature sound, they're not going to deter from it or anything like that. They're going to keep to it because that's what people expect at this point. Remember, it was the 90s and it was new metal. They weren't expecting anything like crazy prog, whatever the fuck, go pop music. They wanted Korn. They got Korn.
So for a new music review, I did their new album, one of their tracks on there, and I can never say
the album. I think it was Requiem. I think that was the album.
Yeah, Requiem.
I did one of their songs too. I think we both did a song from the same album, but it wasn't the same song though.
Yeah, I hate saying that word. But that was good. I liked that. I raved and ranted about it. It might be the lack of hard drugs. I want to listen to an album right after they all got clean, after Head came back, because I know he left, came back.
Found Jesus.
Yeah, which is sweet because I would like to hear what clear-minded Korn sounds like as opposed to drugged up and off the rails constantly. Because I'm sure that the contrast is obvious, and I might actually like that more than this.
Well, I know David's gone now, and I think Fieldy might be gone too.
Really?
So
must have been recent then.
If Fieldy's gone, I could, like, are you gonna try to find someone to do all the percussive stuff? Because I know for a tour a while ago, Korn enlisted Ryan Martinez of Mudvayne, the bassist of Mudvayne, to cover for Fieldy. He wasn't out of the band at that point; he was just not on the tour.
Yeah.
So they've tried other basses, and I'd be curious. I haven't heard what it sounds like though, because like, do you do the clickety clapping, thumping, percussive bass, or do you do your own thing? Like, I would be very curious to know. So I'm curious.
I know that. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, if they do have a new bassist, I'd be curious to know what it sounds like.
They might. Nothing on Fieldy's Wikipedia page tells me any different, but he definitely was on their latest album.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I could be wrong too. I could be actually wrong.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that he left, so I don't know.
Interesting. I hope not. He really is he's the bass of the band, the BASE of the band.
Or that, or the low end guitars of the bass of the band.
Fair.
Fieldy's just a second drummer at this point.
Nice.
He's like one of the percussionists in Slipknot. You know, he's not Joey Jordison, but he's like Clown or Sid. I can't remember their fucking names anymore.
I have no idea.
All right, we'll move on. Song number 11, Seed.
Okay, if you insist.
I'm waiting on you, yeah.
God, I like how it starts. At least the electrical fry sound effect is fucking grating the more it goes on. Why is it so loud?
Wait, electrical fry?
I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like, I don't know how to describe it other than it just kind of sounds like I don't know. I can't explain it because I've only heard this song just to do this. So it's not even in my head. I just know that it's got like and it's every fucking, Oh my God,
Like a
stop
dead
it.
note sound? Is that what you're trying to do? Because if you're actually
No,
trying to
no.
it might not be coming out properly through the speaker
It,
if you're trying to actually make a real noise.
it sounds like a sound effect. Just listen to the
A
goddamn
sound
song.
effect, you say?
Yes, it's a
One of the
whatever it is.
handfuls of sound effects in the world.
Well, maybe if you listen to the song, you would know what I meant. Maybe you should stop outsourcing yours to someone on Fiverr.
Yeah, I gotta save my money. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Didn't like it. I would rather hear unintelligible scatting over these music beds. I actually just prefer more of that. I want less lyrics and just more of the random
But you get that in this song, though.
Yeah,
This is the last one where he actually scats.
I want all of it. That's it. I will hear a whole song of that. That's fine.
I will say after again that residual cough. About 42 seconds after the intro, the actual song starts, and I will say, being like a fan of Korn's older stuff, like growing up like that too, so I'm familiar with their back catalog. This sounds like a Korn track. This sounds like their old shit. Like this sounds like a leftover from like Life is Peachy or something. And then maybe it very well is, because like that happens a lot where like you'll have so much content for one album, not use it, so then maybe recycle it to the next album.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be curious to know if this one was a recycled track. There's something about the riff in this one that really makes it feel that way. Another song where the verses like are kind of cool but ultimately uninteresting. The chorus sounds cool, as it's pretty much what it's been this whole album. Like verses are okay, chorus is better.
Yeah.
It sounds cool, but if not super familiar by now, because obviously it starts to feel like other tracks on the album. The energy is still doing a lot to keep these songs more appealing at the very least. So I do like that about it at the very least. Again, more Jonathan David scat as well. Like, I mean, I wrote Jonathan David too. Look at me doing things. It's even more unhinged this time. Like, there's been a progression of scatting in this album. You have Freak on a Leash, which was like the introduction, was pretty normal, straightforward. Then you had b.b.k, which was a little crazier, still fine. This one goes off the fucking rails because, like, I do like how off the wall it is, but then I'm wondering why it needs to be here, because like it was just so messy and covered in effects, like pitch shifting it everywhere, that I was just like, what the fuck is this and why?
Speaking of what the fuck is this and why, I don't know if it's the music bridge, but it sounds like random as fuck sound effects and record scratches. There's one that literally sounds like squeezing a dog toy.
I think that's just Jonathan Davis with effects. I think that's all the whole damn thing is.
It's like they're sitting there and they just have this whole file of sound effects and they're going through going, yeah. Yeah,
I guarantee at this point he's probably just tweaking and recording it and then taking the best of and putting it in this song.
God, this was the best. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Well, just for that particular section at the very least.
And I do have a question for you. So a minute before the song ends, it stops and starts again. What was the point of that? It was one bar that the music dies and then comes back as something else. Fuck was that? It was like they had a transition, then that piece of tape or that file was lost. It left a dead area, and they were like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Let it go." I was so confused.
I'm going to assume that's a rhetorical question because I have zero answers for that.
Yeah, I know
artistic
that you know more
choice.
than me,
that's
so.
About it. I would point the finger and say artistic choice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be there, but they left it anyways. I don't fucking know. But you think a remastered album would have fixed that? So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I hated it.
I'll just finish off by saying this song is far too long, 6 minutes, or nearly 6 minutes. It could have been like a minute or two shorter. Just been. It could have been just as effective, if not better. Although better, I use loosely. And yeah, that's all I really have to say for that. But I would like to go back for 1 second about the what the fuck and why as we go into song number 12, Cameltosis featuring Slim Kid 3.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of notes. Do you mind if I just whip right through them?
Grab that birdcage and rattle the shit out of it. Go ahead.
This intro sounds like when I put rubber bands on a tissue box and pretended I had a guitar. Okay, the vocals here sound so much more cohesive. The bass is warm and snappy, same as before, but the warmness is finally palpable. I actually kind of like this one. Scratch that. It's just the same shit over and over. 2 minutes and I'm pretty much done. It's so long. Oh my God. That was it. And scene.
Oh, I didn't even write the time for the song. How long is it?
It is only 4 minutes and 38 seconds, give or take a couple
Feels
seconds.
a lot longer than that.
It fucking does.
This is like, I will be straightforward and say this is one of the songs on the album that, like, even through decades of listening, I don't think I've listened all the way through because I just
You're like, hell no.
never fucking cared for it. Especially because when I first got into this album too, like, consider the fact, like, I hadn't started listening to hip hop or anything by that point yet. Like, I didn't start listening to hip hop till like somewhere in my teen years. So like when I hear hip hop, like, although granted, I liked Children of the Corn back then. Not so much, but like I didn't mind it. Whereas this one though, I heard it, I was like, this isn't a song. This is garbage. What are you kids listening to? I say as an 8-year-old or whatever. But yeah, another venture into hip hop territory. Obviously, we're already alluding to that. This one feels like it could have been far more atmospheric and interesting, but unfortunately, the entire song is pretty weak as a whole.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of good things to say about it. The rapping kind of sucks. Slim Kid's lyrics are mid as shit. John, on the other hand, is just about as edgelord and try hard as you could possibly get in this song. Did you read the lyrics at all?
I did not. No, I did not.
Oh, you should read the chorus lyrics.
Okay.
You're missing out. No, read them right now because I want to see your reaction live on tape because
would you like me to read them out loud?
Please do, because it's super cringe. Super cringe.
Okay. So we're looking for what? Chorus?
Just the chorus. Just the chorus. There's like 4 lines in the chorus.
Is it so baby I ask you what do you want from me? So baby I okay.
Pass that. Because that repeats a billion times. Go ahead.
I cannot ever. Are you going to bleep me or should I bleep myself?
This is uncensored. I've never censored this podcast before.
I cannot ever love another cunt, you trick ass slut. Love twice and you'll get fucked. You see this time. I cannot ever love another cunt.
You don't have to read it twice. It's the same thing.
Love,
it's the same thing.
No, I would like to. Love twice and you'll get fucked.
That's why I asked you if you had read the lyrics. I was very curious because that's why I said he's about as edgelord and try hard as you can get. It's super fucking cringe.
Oh my God. Is this just about wanting to bang a chick? Is that what all this is?
Yeah. Actually, the first verse I thought was like a phone sex thing because it sounded like,
I'm reading it now.
We're talking to each other, exchanging information, all this kind of stuff. It sounds like you're just like literally jerking off to phone sex, and then Jonathan Davis with that fucking edgelord of a chorus. This song, not very good. I mean, the instrumentation in the chorus is kind of cool, and I do love that hollow snare drum sound that we get throughout the track. That's fine, and that's about where the compliments end for me right then and there. Because as I said, years of multiple listens, this song is ass. It has never grown on me, and likely never will.
Yep, I didn't mind it until everything just repeated over and over, and then I was like, you know what? We could have just had like a 1-minute punk song, little interlude, something. It would have been fine.
And then you read the lyrics and felt even weaker about it.
Yes. That was weird.
I could never love another cunt. Like, did you have to do that? Like that feels so unfucking. I'm not offended. It just feels super unnecessary to write that.
But how would you rhyme anything else with the word slut?
But
see how easy it is? You're right. This song fucking sucks.
You what trick ass slut. I want to take you to the mini putt. I love
something in your butt. I see where this is going.
I'll put my mini putt in your butt, and then he cries because he called his dick a mini putt.
What'd I just say, man?
Take that part out. No, it's locked in.
Oh my God, it would be so funny to record a rap song like that. Oh my God. Another thing on the list I'll never do.
Yeah, producer Savannah will happen one day. We've been talking about it for most of season 5 now, so it's gonna happen. All right, let's move on to what I wish was the last song, and kind of technically is on the original album. This was the last song, then this like a secret song after 3 or 4 minutes of silence. But regardless, song number 13, "My Gift to You," and I'll start this up by saying, just by hearing us talk, the B side of this album has been pretty shitty, more or less. I'm glad we got a track like this to cap things off for the most part, because this is where things kind of got interesting for me again to close things out. Yes, it feels kind of familiar to other tracks, but at the same time, there, I was mentioning earlier about the atmospheric sound. This song does it really well while still being heavy, dark, intimidating. I love the delivery of the chorus too. It's super cool. And also, to any Korn fan who is expecting bagpipes, yes, JD brings it in this song. We almost went a whole album without it. He's done it in every album up to this, so you can get that look all you want. He does this in every album.
First two lines. Okay, song's called My Gift to You. First line, I fucking hate bagpipes.
Return to
line,
sender.
second line, your gift to me should be to never do that again.
The song Shoots and Ladders and...
Ooh. Played that live. I had to Google it.
Did he use the bagpipes?
Did.
I was gonna say that's the one song. There's another one on Life is Peachy that I can't remember what song he does it for. But then this one, there's this one, and then I think there might be one or two tracks on Issues, and then beyond that, my Korn knowledge gets a little fuzzy. So it's consistent, although not on this album. It's at least in the discography consistent. So I would never dox points for that. Even if you hate bagpipes, it's consistent. So that's fine.
I didn't hate this one as much as, let me see. Definitely didn't hate this much or hate this song as much as some of the others. Again, why is this song so long? Last thing I want is a 7-minute closer, only because the last couple of songs either were long or they felt much longer than they needed to be. So I was like, oh my God, please just off me right now. So I wrote down that there aren't any discernible parts to really break the song up. I did listen to it again after writing that. I am incorrect. There are different parts. They just sound familiar to each other. So it's kind of like you have to really be listening to kind of pull them out. I definitely would have turned this album off after side A. So it's really funny that you say the side B, because I would have shut this off right after side A
and missed this one.
and again, this is where I got my note from. I do feel like I'm in oral prison. AURAL.
Oral prison, gotcha.
Oral prison.
Oral.
Yeah. Oral.
But see, that's why I don't really say it on the show, but to myself, I always think like there's always like hidden treasures on albums. So like even if you, and I'm not talking about like, you know, your big singles on side A or anything like that. Like you got to sift through some of the shit on the B side. Maybe you might find one or two songs that are really good. And I think My Gift to You is that song. So I do like it. The length doesn't bother me because I like everything that's happening in it. The verses, of course, is very discernible, I think, because like the verses are a lot more chuggy, whereas the verses kind of like, the chorus is kind of like spread everything out. It gets very atmospheric. So like, I don't know. It's kind of like you take the chugginess and just it all kind of collapses down to like a river type thing. So I like the way that feels. I think they did a great job. The chorus is my favorite part. Again, no surprise considering that's how I feel about like every fucking verse chorus on this album.
Yes.
The song builds well into the final chorus as well. So I really like how they do that. It takes a little while, but I think there's a good payoff. This would have been an appropriate ending to the album. And then on my notes I have, but then ... but I'll wait to move on to that. So do you have anything else to say about this?
I don't. I am actually ready to move on to that.
Okay, so this song would have been an appropriate ending to the album, but then ... song number 14, Earache My Eye. Let's do I gotta do a little prefacing real quick. So first off, to the original album that came out in the 90s, I had the CD. My Gift to You would end and there would be like 2 or 3 minutes of silence. Then you would hear like this song start, and it starts with like Monkey and somebody else talking. They're both like really fucking high. You can tell, just listen to them talk for 2 seconds. So it's weird that you hear that and then the song picks up. So it is technically a part of the original album, and Spotify has it as its own track. That's why we're covering this one. And also Earache My Eye is apparently a comedy sketch from Cheech Marin in the 70s. I didn't read too much about it, but apparently the premise of this song is just the premise of the sketch. I don't know. And the song is sung by Cheech Marin. So my first note about the song is when you have tape left, get super fucked up on drugs, invite Cheech Marin into the studio and do this track for shits and giggles. It's anything but. I like the riffs and that's it. Everything else about this song sucks. It's annoying. It's not necessary. It's exhausting to get all the way to the end. This was originally a secret track and they should have made it even more secret and inaccessible.
Wikipedia says Fieldy sings this song.
No, he does like the lower kind of like weird background, like
really?
Get your boogie on,
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. But like the vocals is actually Cheech Marin.
Interesting.
I'm the high pitched dude, like.
Now I'm curious to see if I read that incorrectly.
Because even Wikipedia said like he appeared on this album, so I mean.
Blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is just doing the original one. This has nothing to do with Korn.
But yeah, Fieldy does like vocal interjections, but they're like pitch shifted down. Like when he says "tie your pecker to a tree," like that was Fieldy. But I mean, everything else is Cheech Marin.
Interesting. When it comes to this song, did you know that Rush has used the song signature riff live to end the big money?
No, I didn't.
On the live album, A Show of Hands. This was like the late 80s. But,
wait, the main riff of this song?
The main riff of this song, they ended their song, The Big Money, with on A Show of Hands.
So I guess maybe technically this is a cover then.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Rush is playing the main riff, and this version of the song came out in '98, so maybe the one in the '70s wasn't just a comedy sketch. Maybe there was actually music to it. I don't know. I haven't heard it. I know nothing about it. So
it says, and the final riff of the same show is depicted in the video of this. I don't fucking know. This is some sort of weird cyclical thing. Anyways, what I wrote 3 notes. Number 1, I'll let the first minute and a half slide because it is a hidden song. It's starting with just people talking is definitely jarring when you think a CD is over. You're like, who the fuck is talking?
When you just hear those voices, like, what? Huh?
I think that's funny because I imagine how scared I would be thinking someone is around me talking, but it's just a hidden track. This song is better than half the album, and they didn't even write it. And it's got a wild sound that I vibe with.
I hate you so much.
It's weird. It's wacky.
Just because you have money and you can do something doesn't mean you should. And this is what this song is. I didn't mind this as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, and I'm not like a shitty guy who like shits all over fun and everything like that. I know how to have fun with music, but just sometimes it's like, fucking stop. Like,
so I didn't listen to any lyrics though, so I don't know how lame those are. I was just listening to the music and how crazy things felt.
Probably more lyrics that probably wouldn't work too well in 2023. Let's say that much.
Oh, okay. Well,
but even beyond that, though, just this, I don't know. Some of the instrumentals are fine, but everything else about the song fucking sucks. I wrote this too. This was just necessary for me. Things Korn could have invested in rather than the time, effort, and people for this track. Feed the homeless for a day in your city. Time in rehab. Go back to fine tune any weaker tracks on this album. Bitcoin. They could have invented Bitcoin in 1998. Fashionable hats for the entire crew. Giving money to local bands or venues to help them along. Literally any charity. A 24-inch tattoo of Mama Cass Elliot for no reason at all. Paid for someone's college education. Botox. Botox for whatever they do on your penis. Whatever Botox they can do for your asshole. Or give it away to fans with medical bills. They could have done anything with the money they spent for this particular track.
They could have kept Justin alive, god damn it.
Yeah, they could have. It's like, oh, we could have paid this pill that will cure your cancer, but no, we can't release the song if you live.
Yeah, Cheech Marin's asking for $200,000, and I mean that's a steal. So we're gonna do it.
Then the end of the song is him just screaming about how rich he is. I own you, you two, you three, hee. I don't like that you like this song. That your score could not disappoint me any more than I feel about you liking this song even a little bit. This was one of the ones I thought we were gonna match.
I fucking knew that at some point you would be pissed about one, if not all of my takes. I'm just really surprised it took the very last thing I said.
Song. Oh, I'm curious to know where you put it on your list now. This is too much. This is ridiculous. I'm fuming over here.
I'm really warm because this is hilarious.
Alrighty then. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there because
please.
I need more reason to be angry. Apparently, besides just talking about the album, we got to like rank songs, rate records. Thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of the album. If you did, even all the way to the secret track, you shouldn't have to, but appreciate that you made it to the secret track too. God, my throat's just not doing too well right now. Getting over being sick, so every once in a while I gotta stop before I like go on a fucking hacking spree. But yes, let us know what you thought about the album down in the comments below wherever you're listening. Truly appreciate it, and we're very curious to know your opinion because you hear ours. Listen, I'll tell you a very quick review of this album. So this album truly got me into heavy music as a child. Like I listened to heavy music as a kid, but like this is what like really set me forth on metal. Though I may be self-deprecating myself and I do a lot of those jokes a lot, I feel I aged better than this album. The A side is far better than the B side, and what I really liked saved this album from catastrophe.
Yes, definitely jumping off that last sentence. They say misery loves company, and I left this album miserable. My score was carried by the 3 songs I liked and would listen to again.
I'm very curious about this one because I've always said like we need more C and D tier albums on the show, so I'm curious like if this one could go low. I'm quite curious actually.
You said you're getting over a sickness. Trust me, once you hear my rankings, you're probably gonna get sick all over again.
I'm gonna get fucking delirious and shit.
Probably. Oh yeah, you're gonna shut this shit down.
Alrighty then, well let's start ranking songs. We gotta do that part at the very least to begin. So above our head, boom, graphics have changed. There are names, there are numbers, so it's gonna be more names, song names to be specific, because we need to go from 14 to 1 on each side. Which song is least favorite to favorite, worst to best, however you want to look at it. That's what we gotta do right now, so yes. Any ideas for matches?
Oh God, this is hard. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm going to say 1 to be optimistic, but really deep down in my heart, I think it's a big fat goose egg.
Oh, this is. I think you said that last week though, and we ended up getting like what 2, I think it was.
But see, then I'm pleasantly happy.
We're on a streak right now. We can't.
I don't want to kill it on this one.
I have a feeling we're going to get at least 1. At least one. Even before we started recording, I told you probably at least 1.
Yeah, I think they're going to be higher up in the list. I think all the ones we don't like are going to either be one-offs or like a weird orientation. I think the ones closer near the top, maybe the top half, possibly. But even then, I'm not really optimistic with that one.
Let's find out how good and or bad it can get. Not matching this one though. Apparently, song number 14, "Earache My Eye."
All in the family. Fuck that shit.
Okay, song number 13. What the fuck does that even say? What did I write? Oh, Cameltosis.
Children of the Korn.
I think songs I thought you would have hated more. Song number 12, Justin.
Dead Bodies Everywhere.
This is bad.
This is bad. That's why I'm not up.
Song number 11, Pretty.
Reclaim My Prize.
Place.
Reclaim My Place. Why did I put prize?
I have no
Guess
idea.
I'll fix it.
And fix the score while you're at it.
No, I'm not doing that.
Song number 10, Seed.
Cameltosis.
That was not that good. The lyrics should have fucking boosted that one until 13. Number 9, All in the Family.
b.b.k.
Yeah, this is real bad. Number 8, Children of the Korn.
Justin.
It's gonna be the ones like the top 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Where we're sitting at this point, I think, because
that's what I'm saying.
We can only we have 4 more songs to match, and I think only one of them is like maybe. Number 7, It's On.
Seed.
Number 6, b.b.k.
My Gift to You.
Well, at least you ranked that one higher than I thought you would have. Number 5, Reclaim My Place.
Pretty.
It's really going to come down to the top. Eh? We got 2 songs left.
I knew it.
Number 4, Dead Bodies Everywhere.
It's On.
Come on. Number 3, My Gift to You.
Earache My Eye.
Interesting. I fucking despise that you're fucking bronze medal.
But we might match number 1. Who knows?
We might match number 2 and 1.
Oh, I hope so.
So it rides on this, and this is the weird part, because I hate being the one in charge of this part. Number 2.
I like yelling, so.
Yeah, I guess I could see you leaning back. Number 2, Got the Life.
God damn it! My number 2 is Freak on a Leash. My number 1 is Got the Life.
How? Got the Life is good, but Freak on the Leash is so goddamn good.
To be quite honest, out of the 2, those 2 that I've only heard, I always like Got the Life more. So that's just me. I think it's the snappy bass constantly.
Korn broke the streak, and it's funny because the only two albums so far in season 5 where we haven't matched are the anniversary albums. Everything else has had a match on it.
Let's stop doing anniversaries.
We gotta celebrate anniversaries.
Are a curse. They're a curse.
Technically, we got one coming up in a couple of weeks. Wink, nudge.
God damn it.
That one's a little more important, though. Speaking of important, we got to find out we're going to rate this album. This is where I'm shocked at everything that's happening right now, and I feel like I'm going to be sick to my fucking stomach. So let's just go ahead and transition screen. Swoosh. Alrighty then, here's the album rating screen. Oh my goodness, there's so many things to look at, especially that B tier, huh? It's crazy, and this is one of those times where an album that I even grew up with, I hope that doesn't make the fucking B tier. I kind of hope it goes lower, to be honest. Although, granted, I didn't give it a scathing score, but at the same time, I was hoping. Because we need more C and T tier albums, right?
Yep.
But why do I feel like it's not going to be this one? And today, obviously, being Korn, Follow the Leader, turning 25 years old, where exactly is it going to end up on the list? I don't know. I feel sick to my stomach. Savannah, ruined my day, as if you already haven't.
Oh, I definitely already have, and that was the point. Now, my score is higher than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought that it was going to be maybe 5 to 7% lower than it is. But we are nestled firmly in B- territory with 70.93.
That's still not as high as I thought you would have put it. So at least I'm not that angry.
Yeah.
Still angry, but not that angry. You know?
That's fine. I can take it.
Okay, so you got 70.93. Got to do some math on my calculator. Because I will say as well that I also scored it higher than I thought, because it was the A side of the album that really saved this. Because the bottom, Earache My Eye, it's the lowest score I've given a song since Through Her Fucking Eyes by Dream Theater. Which, by the way, your fucking shout out to your sweater there, because I gave Earache My Eye 2.5 out of 10 because it was fucking terrible.
Oh my god!
And I mean, like, bottom half scored badly, but I gave it a 73.21.
Okay.
So that puts us in firmly the B- tier with a 72.07.
Oh, it fits nicely between Queens of the Stone Age and the Birthday Massacre. Queens of the Stone Age was 71.82 for rated R.
That album's better though.
Yeah, that hurts you, doesn't it? That
everything today hurts me. And this was an album when I first put this album on the list, like a year ago, or at the beginning of the year, I should say, when I was like looking up, like, oh, what's turning what age in 2023? I was like, oh, Follow the Leader. That could be interesting to revisit. Now that we're here, I fucking hate it.
Wasn't.
I can't say that I hate it. It's got a good A side, and my gift to you.
Right.
Oh boy, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's what an interesting episode this has been. I even texted you like a day or two ago. It's like this is gonna be an interesting review.
And it was. See?
Yeah, I guess in all the wrong ways, but yeah. Alrighty then, Korn is indeed a B tier album, or Follow the Leader is indeed a B tier album. People might agree, disagree with us, but we're curious to know what your opinion on that is. Do you agree or disagree with us? How would you rank the songs? Where would you rate the record? By all means, let us know down in the comments below wherever you're listening, because we're very curious. And seeing my emotional state right now, I hope this makes you listen to the album. Tell us about it. Tell me why I need to chill out. Tell Savannah why she's wrong. I don't really care what you tell us. Just curious to know, right? Make this fun for us, please. Tell me Earache My Eye is terrible. Please tell me.
And you know what? Tell me it's terrible as well, because I'll just bask in the fact that everyone is upset with me.
I don't know. I feel like I can go either way on this one. But anyways, thank you very much for tuning in today, regardless of how you feel about our review or the albums. Very much appreciate having you here. It's been a lot of fun. Again, let us know what you thought. Make sure that you also let us know on our socials. And all that kind of stuff can be found at ratetherecord.ca. All the streaming links, all the social links, the RTR Club, merch, requesting albums, all of that. Again, ratetherecord.ca. So make sure that you're going there, bookmarking the link for your phone or your tablet, your laptop, your PC. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure we're bookmarked somewhere so you're always hanging out with us in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, yes, please.
And remember,
we can only take each other's company so much. We need more people.
we're approaching close to 100, and I keep questioning if we're actually going to make it to 100 at this point. And episodes like today are really weakening those chances a little bit.
You're on the border. You're on the border.
This episode, this show, continuing episode 100, it went from a B- rating to a C+. It's dropping. Oh boy. But okay, before we go though, we do have to give you a little sneak preview of what to expect next week. We only got a few episodes left in the first half of season 5, so this was pretty interesting. But next week, Savannah did choose the album, so let's hear what you may or may not have to say about it.
Next week, we have a band who was only together for less than a decade, but broke up because one member is notoriously a huge dickhead.
That could be a lot of different bands.
Right? Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of egotistical shit fucks out there.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jonathan Davis is not one of them. Are we doing Limp Bizkit? I mean, they were together for like kind of a decade, and then they broke up, and then got back together for a while, and no one likes Fred Durst.
This band has never gotten back together. No reunions, no nothing. I don't want to specify how many years they were together because that might give it away.
You won't even say the year that they were together.
Right? They broke up, animosity, and one member went off on their own and doing their own thing. So
Ted Nugent.
Oh my God! You know what? One day I'll pick Ted Nugent. We'll get 2 songs in, and then just the episode will end. It's like we can't do this
because then I'll call him a pedophile and get in trouble for it. He wrote a song called Jailbait. I don't care. He wants to fuck a 13-year-old girl. That's what the lyrics say. Okay, he wrote it. Anyways, not talking about Ted Nugent being a pedophile because we're ending the episode now. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. Come back next week if you can guess what we're doing. If not, that's fine. Go listen to some awesome music in the meantime. Even if that is Korn's Follow the Leader, maybe you really like this album. That's fine too. It's still an iconic new metal album, so go ahead and check it out. So until we see you next week, go listen to awesome music. Take care, friends.
Bye.